Hello, my name is Diem Camille, and I play Siberian in Alien Earth. And you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Guys, welcome back to Pop Culture at Pat. I'm so excited to be talking to today's guest. Today I'm talking to Diem, who plays Siberian in Alien Earth. Diem, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You are very welcome, and I'm just going to give you guys a heads up that this will contain spoilers for episodes 1 through 3. So if you guys aren't caught up, make sure to check it out. But I have a feeling most of you guys have probably seen all 3 episodes. But just to kind of to start things off for you, Diem, as far as what was your relationship with the Alien franchise coming into Alien Earth?
I had actually mostly watched like bits and pieces of Aliens when I grew up. When growing up, my dad used to watch all kinds of movies, and he, without knowing, introduced me to a lot of this industry. So whenever he would watch something in the living room, I would like sneak in and join, and one of them would be Alien, and it freaked me out. Yeah, it freaked me out real good. But the way that the xenomorph moved, I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? And realizing or finding out that it was a man, Badeo, the Nigerian actor, I was like, I thought it was, I thought it was like a robot or something, because no way someone actually did this. And I didn't know that was part of being an actor as well. And it was just so interesting to watch this world that Ridley created and how brave you have to be in order to create a universe. Collaborating with H.R. Geiger, and it's so profound in its own way. It's not just about horror and scaring people. It's also about society, and it's about hope. And so I knew that this is something I wanted to create and something I wanted to make. So when I got the casting, I was like, oh my goodness, holy cheese tubs. This is real. Like, how is this even a casting? Like, I feel like people who get a Marvel casting feel the same way. It's like, this is not happening. This is not happening, you know?
I'm sure when you probably first got it, I'm sure you probably didn't know what it was initially. I'm assuming it was probably a
No,
code name or something.
it had a code name. It was like Mr. October, which is one of the titles for one of the episodes as well. And I was like, what is this? And then I read Noah's name and Ridley's name. And I thought, before reading those names, I thought it was a fan production. And I have nothing against fan productions because I already produced a Star Wars fan production here in
Yeah.
Denmark. So I just thought it was one of those fans coming together and creating something epic. And they needed me. I mean, you have to be a fan to be able to do this properly, like Noah. And then he brought all of us in, and that was just being handpicked from one self tape is an amazing feeling, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And being before the casting, I just watched all the films, and I was actually quite surprised about Prometheus, because I remembered it to be, I don't know, like I felt like, oh, it's just, and then I watched it again. I was like, this is good. This is this is quite good.
Interesting how that
Um,
works sometimes, revisiting
yeah,
projects, like years later from when you've first seen them.
right. And I saw Aliens so many times, and I always told myself Aliens is my favorite one. And then I rewatched Alien. I was like, hold up, what? How? I
The
don't
leap of
know what
faith.
to say anymore. Exactly. Like whenever people ask me, what's your favorite Alien movie? I can't pick one.
Yeah, it's
Nope,
tough.
I can't. The first and second one are just top tier horror, and sci-fi in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I knew I had to. Which one is your favorite, actually?
Oh man, that I'll say that's the age-old question to pick between Alien and Aliens.
Right?
Um, I mean, if I had to pick, maybe I would lean a little bit more Aliens, but they're right there, I think. And I love
They're like neck and neck. Yeah.
Romulus even last year too that we got. I
Oh
mean,
my
seeing that in
goodness.
theaters was such an experience.
I mean, Feta is amazing. So I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't have, the same expectations as you would have for like the OG films. So I thought, cut him some slack. And then I
Yeah.
went in and I saw it and I was like, oh, he doesn't need any slack. What?
Nope.
this is so great. And just loved the hybrid. I don't remember his name now. Is it David, Daniel, something with a D?
Yeah.
He was incredible.
Oh, that was terrifying.
Like
Yeah, at the end of the end of the film. Spoilers
terrifying.
for Romulus, but I'm sure most
Oh yeah, no
has seen that
spoilers.
by now, so it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, what kind of information did you get about the character initially, and how did you want to make Siberian your own as well, compared to just what was in the script?
I mean, the script is so well written by Noah, so it was quite easy to sort of tap into this lean, mean Marine who is, she seems super badass. And I tend to get roles where I have to be a badass for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why, but like,
There you go.
but but it's just for me, it was really important to show the humanity of it because that's what the show is also about. It is like a battle between humanity and machines, and capitalism and the dangers of that. So when I read the script and getting all of it, I was like, I literally wrote down like a note on each scene, humanity, and how I had to show it in a different way in each scene. And I just realized that Siberian also shows love by teasing, by, you know, throwing daggers. Just like Vasquez, she throws daggers, but she has a lot of love in her. But she was like badass.
Oh
um,
yeah.
and I even, I paid homage to her by having red hair as Siberian. Today I'm paying homage to anime, my
Hey,
favorite anime, Dragon Ball. And so it was very important to me to show fear. And how do you show fear in someone who's supposed to be fearless as a soldier? And especially as a Marine, you have to, be a lean, mean Marine. And she looks like it. In all of the character photos that's been out, she's like, you know?
don't want to mess with
So
her.
yeah, exactly. Don't mess with her. And I love that about her. But I've also played the strong Black woman a lot. So to me, it's important to also show the vulnerability, to show the humane parts of you. And so I was more concerned about why she is this strong character. And in my opinion, and how I read her, is that she's protecting her vulnerability. It's not about her being the only girl in the group or anything. It's her protecting herself, her protecting her vulnerability and her person, her humanity. And if you're not focused as a Marine, if you're not ready and alert all the time, then it's over, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why Hermit kind of bugs her, because he doesn't really want to be there. He wants to go find his sister. And so to her, it's like she only wants people on her team who is up for the task of being a soldier, because it's not an easy thing.
No.
And that's why she's also superstitious. Like she doesn't even want to touch Hermit because it's like he usually touches people who are about to die. And so, nope, you
I'm good
know,
with that.
and and that's also sort of like this very humane character trait that Noah created. And so putting fear and being scared inside of a soldier to sort of amplify the show and the element of fear that is just constant in different levels was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
And that's also like, speaking of sci-fi, what I really love, I need to say, like, what I really love about sci-fi is and horror is that it's it's genres that create world where I can also exist. And I think Denmark and other countries, but especially Denmark, should really take notice. And because I don't really exist in drama films here, unless I want to play an enslaved person, and I don't. So to be able to do sci-fi and horror is really important to me because I get to exist and I get to be me and I get to be an elevated version of myself, and learning that sci-fi and horror has no color. Fear has no color, death has no color, love has no color. everyone is welcome in the world of sci-fi and horror.
Oh,
And that is really beautiful to me. And that's why I love the genres.
and there's so many, I mean, those two genres specifically, there's so many different subgenres. So there's just a
Yeah.
lot of different ways that you can tell a story that I feel like sometimes you can't necessarily get in some of the
Yeah,
other genres, which
exactly.
was one of the reasons like horror, I'm a big horror guy. Horror is my favorite, genre. So that's why I love it
Oh,
so much.
what's your favorite horror film then?
Our favorite horror movie of all time is Scream, 1996, the original.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, legendary. Wow.
I've lost count of how many times I've seen that movie over the years. So,
Wow. I just saw and which is embarrassing that I'm seeing it now and not before, but A Train to Busan, which
oh yeah,
is absolutely insane. Because I had waited, sometimes I wait years to watch a film that I should watch because I need to be mentally ready. Like it's a mental game for me to sit down and consume something that is either very personal or to my culture or very scary. And I knew it was a zombie film, so I was like, "Oh, I don't like zombies." And then I sat down and I watched it, and I was like, "This is one of the best way of telling a story because it's not even about zombies.
yeah,
Like when you realize it's not even about it's about family. Again, like family is such an integral part of horror and sci-fi. Like there's always a family element because everyone can relate, Everyone has or had a family. So existing within that frame is beautiful, you
yeah.
know.
Plus, sometimes too, I can understand not maybe wanting to hold off. There's been projects where it's like sometimes there's so much hype and you just hear nothing but positive things, which
Yeah,
is great. But sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want
which
it to
is
disappoint
great.
me. So you just kind of give it a little bit of time before you watch it. I totally understand.
Exactly. And I'm really bad with hype. Like if you hype something too much, I'm like, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm gone. But if you haven't watched Alien, please watch it because it's worth the hype.
Oh, it is
You know,
100% worth the hype.
I-
Yeah. Everything
it
that I've
is
seen
worth
from fans, they seem to be loving it. I know we
yeah,
just got episode 3. Can't wait for four next week. And can you talk
yeah,
about the process? Because I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff. Just kind of transforming into your character for the first time. So the hair, the
yeah,
makeup, getting into that costume, and really
yeah.
feeling like Siberian for the first time.
It was very, very collaborative, I would say. And I didn't expect that. I expected this department of being like, this is that, and you're going to wear this. And I stepped into the makeup hair band for the first time and met with Sana, our head of department. And I basically told her because I had a dream about having red hair. And so I just knew that my character had to have red hair. So I stepped into the van and I showed her a picture of the hair that I thought for her and the color. And she was like, that looks really good. And it wasn't even the braids. It was actually these like poofs on her, like very like nerdy sci-fi sort of Black Panther-y kind of thing, but like these round balls of hair. And then she said, but I don't think we can do it with the helmet because you're wearing a helmet a lot. So it's going to be elevated, and that's weird. I already have red hair. I don't need people to be like, she's not military at all. So it's like she actually came up with the idea of the braids, and then together we collaborated on making the cornrows into something meaningful on the side. And so there's one cornrows was like that's like a normal cornrows, which means destiny. I put meaning into everything, by the
I love that.
way. So the normal one is destiny because there's only one road. And then the next one is like two cornrows crossing. So it's like two worlds colliding. And then the bottom one, which kind of looks like a reverse Nike, but it's like a full loop, means that history is repeating itself.
Wow.
So I needed to create something very unique for my character to always remember her, basically, remember what she's about. And the same goes for, the makeup was supernatural. Most of the makeup was dirt. I had to be dirty and sweaty every day. You should have seen me the first day. I think actually in episode 3 or 4, I'm finally clean, and I'm like, oh, I get to not have sand and mud, and which is fun for 3 weeks. But then after 3 weeks, it's like, okay,
And you're like, I want to
you
be
know,
clean.
exactly. Let me clean up. And then with the costumes, and that was Connie Parker who created the makeup, and Davina who kept touching up. She was basically saying she didn't need to add more sweat to my face because I was sweating so hard, which is called metabolism mixed with Thailand. And then with the costumes, Sutirat, which who's an amazing costume designer, and she basically created her own little world for Alien with all the costumes and everything. And her and Pichelle helped me make the costume my own. And I thought that was really interesting because I had never been asked the question, how would Siberian wear it? Like, no sets, no projects I've ever been on has asked me, how would your character wear it?
I love
You
that
know,
collaboration.
it's such a collaboration, and I wanted to cry because it's like, oh wow, you're making me make a decision. Um, I think she would have a crop top. And I was like, for the rooftop scene, I chose for her to have the shorts and the crop top. And Michelle was just laughing so hard because of like, she was like, of course you have a crop top. And then we discussed it. We were like, is it too much to have a crop top because she's a Marine? And my argument was, I think she would, because even though she's one of the guys, she still loves to be a woman. And she doesn't have a problem showing that. She just has a problem of showing vulnerability. That's all. So it was really great to be heard, I think. And I think that was the best part of being on the show, that people actually listen to your opinions, creating your character.
I love that. So it sounds like this might be, if not one of your most personal roles to date, just with how involved you were in the
Mm.
collaboration process of bringing this character to the screen.
Yeah, this one and the one in Washington Black. I mean, that one was personal on a cultural level because I had to. It's another show on Disney. It's
Yeah.
quite wild to have two shows on Disney, but I had to play a West African warrior, and from a kingdom of my ancestors. So it was just unreal,
Yeah.
to be so close to yourself. And in this one, it's unreal to be so close to, or basically live out the dream I had when I was 10. So because I've always wanted to be in fantasy and sci-fi, it's my favorite genre. So, I've seen everything, from Westworld to Star Wars. I mean, everything. So it's insane
Yeah.
and very healthy to let people live out their dreams just for a moment.
And what better way to live out that dream than being in a franchise like Alien that's such a storied franchise? And
It's legendary.
can you talk about the experience too of so going on the sets, just
Mm.
stepping on those for the first time, but I guess specifically I'm really curious about exploring the crash site with the rest of Siberian's team.
Yes.
Because when you guys go into the different rooms and you see like the aliens in there and stuff.
The first day was actually, we had prepped the crash site we had 3 days to do it, and we prepped for 2 days, meaning we rehearsed for 2 days. The whole choreography, both for us, but also for the cameras, because we had cranes, we had dirt, we had bricks coming down. We had a Burning Man, not the fun kind, but a Burning Man. Our lovely stunt and camera, Florent, he's a trooper because he had to do it several times. And I was like, this is so real, because I don't know why, but when I read the script, I saw it in front of me. Noah's a very, very great writer. So you see everything he writes. And so I just imagined that, okay, this is going to be the best part of it, that I just imagined it, and it's going to be so great. But I'm going to step onto a blue and a green and an orange screen. And then you step onto the dirt, and there are towers, there are skyscrapers, there are actual tanks, there are hundreds of extras bleeding and dirty and limbs falling off. And, it was incredible. All of that made by hundreds of people. And it just, it was very humbling to be able to be in a position where you could say it really takes a village.
Oh yeah.
It really does. Um, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful and gore and bloody and dusty. And I mean, there was so much fire. And even doing the stairwell scene took weeks to create that scene because it's like a whole sequence, and it was so technical, and the lighting and the fire and everything, and we just used so many practical effects, which is also
Sure
gonna
love.
evidently make the show timeless. You know, I think it's so important to hold on to the practicality of everything and do everything by hand as much as you can, because it's going to look beautiful and people are going to appreciate it just like you are. It
Amen.
looks like, you
Yeah.
know, because it's like, it's the effort as well, you know, you're like, okay, you know, well done.
Yeah.
And then you use the VFX as a cherry on top just to, you know,
Exactly.
fine tune. So I really love that they made that decision. That's because it made it easier as an actor, you
Yeah, to
know,
really immerse you guys in the
exactly.
experience.
Yeah, like you don't have to, I mean, my imagination doesn't, it's pretty big. But you don't have to look into like strings or a tennis ball or imagine like having a man walk up in on stilts and being like, okay, the monster probably looks like this. But it's an actual man inside a costume, like Cam inside the Xeno doing an amazing job, by
Oh
the
yeah.
way.
No, yeah, knocked it
He's
out of the park.
he's an icon now.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
like the original one, Badeo, the Nigerian, like he just crushed it
Oh yeah,
in Alien. Yeah,
and I'll
crushed
say
it.
practical effects for me, like we were saying, practical effects for me all day. Don't get me wrong, like
Yeah.
CGI visual effects, they definitely have their place where sometimes you
Yeah.
need them for specific reasons. But when you can go the practical effects route, do
Do
that all
it.
day because I
Do
think
it.
yeah, just it immerses you that much more in the
Yes.
project. But I had read in another interview that you sounds like you had quite a bit of training in particular for this role. So could you kind of just talk about the different trainings that you had?
Yeah, we did a lot of military training with our military trainer David Gray and Troy, and it was very much like stepping onto this huge, like, sort of, how do you say that in English? Like it was like an abandoned. It probably used to be
Like a
a place
warehouse?
for, yeah, but like for airplanes.
Oh, okay.
Like it used to be, it was that big. And then you would just step on into a world of moving boxes, which was quite traumatic because I've moved way too many times in my life, such a nomad. And it was like you had to sort of imagine a lot. That's where you had to really use your imagination. But we had to learn everything that we would use and more. Because as he said, David, you don't want to be in a situation where Noah or Dana or Ugla or amazing directors asks us to do something and then we're like, I don't know how to angle my shot. What is that? You
Yeah.
know, I don't know how to split the difference between, and then so we had to learn many techniques, and it was very scary in the beginning.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because, yeah, because I'm not a gun person and they sort of scare me, but I became more and more secure in it. And so instead of thinking, oh my goodness, I'm holding this monster, you know, I thought I'm holding something that can protect the people I love. You know, I had to sort of trick my mindset because obviously it's also a killer, but it's also a protector. And in the end, it's the shooter, you know, it's not the gun. So I just had to sort of create a mindset that said, I'm in control, and I do with it what I have to in order to save Prodigy's assets, which are the hybrids, the Lost Boys, and his products, basically. So we did a lot of those, like you have to lie down, you have to crouch down, you have to shoot from an angle, you have to storm into a building, you have to search and rescue. And we had to protect each other. and we had to do like these joint like these group raids, which was really fun because I felt like a real soldier. Like you have to go into this building, there are one on each side of the door, and then you have to see if the doorknob is hot or not, and then you have to kick in, and then
Yeah.
everyone just goes in, and it has to be timed, and you have to stand behind this person. And it was so technical but fun. And then the crazy part is that right on the other side of the moving boxes were the Lost Boys learning how to be kids.
Oh, wow.
And so while we were, learning how to kill the target, X-ray, all these things, we could hear them laughing and playing. And so it felt like going into war while there was a kindergarten. Like that
Oh,
was
man.
crazy, and it was very daunting because it's the world today. So
Yeah.
that felt a little too real.
Yeah. No,
you know,
that contrast must have been, yeah, must have really thrown you off. I can only imagine.
such a juxtaposition, but also a juxtaposition that is needed in order to understand the world that you're about to be part of, which is, quite close to the real world that we're in some ways, with the whole billionaires that it's also about, and capitalism, and control control and capitalism can ruin humanity. And I think Noah wrote such a profound, sublime story about our world, but set in a different world, um, because it's debatable and it creates so many conversations.
Oh, yeah.
And just like anything about war and about billionaires and about immortality, which is also a big theme, obviously, is it's so interesting to see how immortality is being treated in a business world, um, and how that affects humanity. And that's just it's really interesting to be like, hey, but we want humanity to last by creating something that is inhumane.
Yeah.
Like what? It's crazy and it's beautiful and scary.
Yeah, just the conversations with AI and every, I mean, stuff like you said,
Yeah,
that's very much going on in the world today. So it poses
exactly.
some interesting questions, and I just love, you can tell that there's a lot of care and effort that went into this.
Yes.
Just hearing you talking about the different trainings, the building of the sets, you
Mm,
creating your characters. So
yeah.
that definitely translate on screen, just how much that I've enjoyed the series so far.
Oh, glad to hear that. Thank you. It means so much when the fans are happy.
Yeah, no, I'm
you
sure it was
know,
probably kind of nerve-wracking. I'm sure as you
it
guys were
is.
waiting for it to come out because it's such a big franchise that's been around for a long
Yeah.
time.
And it's such a brave step to make a TV series. Like,
Yeah,
people don't really talk about it enough. Like, we could have just made a film. Like, Romulus was an amazing film, so we could have made another film, but Noah chose to make, and FX chose to make a show that's gonna last. I don't even know how long. That's also up to the fans and up to Noah.
yeah,
And FX, but it's very unique to create. It's almost like a movie every episode, to create a longevity when it comes to horror. You don't see that often. You usually think, oh, horror is for 2 hours and that's it.
yeah.
Like, no, now you have 8 hours of a massacre, like that's crazy. And
Well,
it's
I think you
profound.
guys are off to a good start considering I saw that at least for the first two episodes, it was the number one streaming show. So I would say that
Yes,
they're off
it's insane.
to a pretty good start. And yeah, I guess just kind of, to wrap up for you, what does it mean to you personally? We've kind of talked about it a little bit, but just being a part of this franchise and joining
Mm,
the list of amazing badass women that have been a part of the Alien franchise over the years.
yeah. I mean, as I said, like the hair is an homage to Vasquez. She's one of my favorite characters. And from Aliens, one of my favorite films. Having to step into an already like an IP, and having to be on the shoulders of legends like Ridley and Sigourney is so humbling, and it's so deserving, I think, of Noah and everyone involved, because honey, we worked so hard. We worked so hard on this show, and Thailand made us sweat. It was, girl, I mean, it was such hard work, and you could just see that it meant so, so much to everyone. And to be able to have such a great reception, and people loving it, people commenting, and people watching it, and it's number one in the world. And as you said, it's really humbling to be part of something this big. I mean, I feel like it's the same with people who are on Star Wars or Marvel, DC, whatever franchise. It's a franchise for a reason, because of the fans, and because, not just because it's good, but because the fan base is incredible, and because we're dealing with icons, with legends, and we're honoring them by watching it again and again and again, going to the comic cons, buying the creatures, the comic books, buying the what do you call it, the figurines and
Yep.
everything. It's become a franchise because of the fans. And I think the only thing we can do is just to do really, really great while shooting and editing. And then you don't have any control anymore. So to see that your hard effort paid off is such a great feeling. And it makes me feel even more happy, because not only did I have fun shooting it, I'm having fun seeing how happy people are about it. Because it would have been so damaging if people were like, what the you know
Yeah, the
um
online world can be tough.
the online world, I mean, that would have broke I mean, I would have been broken, because it's so personal to all of us. It's not just another gig. I mean, for some people it might be another job, but they've learned that it means just as much. It might have started off as just another job, but at some point it creeps up, like, wow, this means a lot to me, actually. And I think everyone had that feeling and are having that feeling still, and me as well. And it's very, yeah, my gratitude is immense to the fans. And I just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to do this, also for Ridley to give us our blessing, but for the fans to ask for this, and to take it, to be happy about it, to motivate us. Because if there wasn't any motivation and any wish or any, fan fiction or whatever from the fans, it would have stopped after the
Yeah.
three OG films. So we're here because of you. We're in this because of you, and that you're playing a huge part of this.
And speaking of
Yeah.
fans, Diem, as far as just for you moving forward too, where can they stay up to date with all your projects moving forward?
Oh my goodness, all my projects. IMDb. But also, I'm coming to Comic Con London. So I'm very excited about meeting all the people who love, all the fans who love the whole franchise and Alien Earth. And I can't wait to be in a room filled with love.
The cons are
Absolute
so much
love.
fun. If you've never done them before, I've
I've
been doing them for
never.
like 10 years now. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll have a
Wow.
blast.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
do you
that's
have
gonna
any
be incredible.
do you
But
have
I
like an
do I do
Instagram or
have
anything?
projects. Hmm?
Do you have like an Instagram or anything that people can give
I
you a
have
follow
a
on?
oh yeah. I have an Instagram. It's just Diem Camille. And on the profile, I'm wearing my Hogwarts hat.
Perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Diem, I just want to say first off, it was a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for your
Me too.
time.
I had so much fun.
Yeah, I had a blast talking to you about the show. Congratulations on the series. I'm sure we're going to be seeing more of you soon, and definitely would love to have you back on in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Oh, yeah, no problem at
Yay,
all.
Pat. Hello, my name is Diem Camille, and I play Siberian in Alien Earth. And you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.